Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. Today we have Giuseppe Ianni with us, and he is from Santa, and he is going to be presenting on e-commerce trends that Dynamics NAV and Business Central users can take advantage of. And we just want to thank you for attending our webinar today, and if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to type them into the questions box, and we will get them called out and answered toward the end of our webinar at our Q&A time. And also, we do record all of our webinars, so this will be available on our website at innovia.com by the end of the week for you to review again, or if you'd like to share it with anyone, you're more than welcome to. So now I'll turn it over to Giuseppe, and he'll kick off our presentation.
Perfect. Thanks, Angie, and appreciate everybody's attendance here today, or if you're watching this remotely. We'll have some contact information at the end. If you're looking to get in touch with us, please let us know. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to one of your contacts at Innovia and let them know, and we can schedule a time to connect. So as we kind of kicked off today, I don't think it comes as any surprise. E-commerce, I think, is a hot topic. I think a lot of organizations, really no matter what industry they might be inside of, understand how critical it is to embrace the digitization in a seamless and scalable way. So we try to find ways to find more product, get more customers, expose and branch out as an organization. And I think organizations today are challenged with finding a way to execute the steps that will help them reach this goal, right? There's a lot of data challenges clients find with inside of an ERP in commerce, finding ways to improve customer experience and find systems that aren't necessarily integrated, sometimes provide a large roadblock that keeps an organization from moving forward and makes them quite stagnant. Sana really has come to the market with Microsoft and partnered with Microsoft and allowed us to leverage Dynamics 365 Business Central and NAV to maximize an organization's effort when it comes to their day-to-day operations and going online. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about today in the overview and presentation. It's ways that we can all do better with what we have in place today and help our bottom line. So we'll start today by talking a little bit about the e-commerce revolution, or the evolution as it is right now, and what that means to organization, where we see the channel sitting, where we see a lot of organizations today at, and where we see people looking to get to. We'll look at and talk a little bit about where businesses are using Dynamics, stand currently today, how a lot of organizations today are focused on the basics and focused on really finding a way to integrate commerce to their ERP. And then we'll conclude by talking a little bit about how we can partner together to help you as an organization become more competitive in the marketplace today. So as we start today and talk about the industry and what's happening, I think we see this large shift, and this might be the first time people have seen this, but I think it'll make sense. We'll talk about the shift from Commerce 1.0 to 2.0 to where we talk about today, and in the future, Commerce 3.0. What does that mean? Well, as we start, we take a look back, right? And we go way back, right? Sales have come a long way since the 1990s and the spread of the internet. We saw Commerce 1.0 change the way we buy and sell with the advent of online sales in the 90s. Businesses like Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, PayPal have transformed really our ideas about commerce as some of the first pioneers of online sales in the late 90s. Amazon started selling books online, and in its first month alone, Amazon already sold books to all people in 50 states, in 45 different countries. Now, today, as we look at where they're at, they're selling everything A to Z, as we look at their logo here, and it's widespread, right? It's globally adopted. We take a look at PayPal launching their service in '98, not that long ago, right? And we look at that payment service provider now expected to process at least $15 billion in revenue in 2018 alone. And then we take a look at '99, Zappos launching an online-only shoe store, right? Now a multi-billion-dollar retailer. So a lot of organizations really started here in Commerce 1.0 in the inception of commerce. And as we look at that, jumping and the success there, we see that it really wasn't a trend, right? It's more of where we're at today. The internet has become gradually more mainstream, right? Consumers adopting, purchasing from their mobile phones at home. We take a look at the evolution from dial-up to broadband. Commerce 2.0 really started to usher in. In this era, a referee covers what I would say is the first decade of the millennium, and saw the continuous ride of internet giants like Google and Amazon, right? Online advertising became really big. Search engine optimization became a critical part of the game. And increasingly more organizations were adding online sales to their channels as a part of their core business model. We take a look at the launch of the first iPhone was done in 2006. PCI compliance really came into the picture in 2004 and became critical. And the Florida update was really the first big game changer when it came to ranking some of the top sites. And they fell off the map here based on some of the changes that Google put into place that cracked down on the manipulating tactics in order to rank high. And then we look at where we've really gotten to today, or what the future really holds for many of us. I think we're all aware, technology isn't waiting around for any of us, any organization, any business. What we've seen is organizations have quickly moved to Commerce 3.0 today to take on the form of native social media advertising and hyper-personalized consumer journeys. Predictive analytics, machine-to-machine ordering, VR, think the HoloLens, right? Robots to pick up and pack orders. All this is things or trends that are starting to hit the market today. And what a lot of these focus on, and I think is critical to understand, is it's all focused around what a customer wants, right? And it's getting to a point where an organization knows what that client wants before they really even want it. And so how are organizations today adopting e-commerce 3.0 trends? What are the biggest challenges and where are they succeeding are all things I want to talk a little bit about today. And as I start there, I want to kind of talk where we see Dynamics users sitting every day that approach Sana, and that we've seen for many years, and what is happening with clients. How are their organizations evolving? What are they investing in? Are they upgrading their commerce solutions? All things that I think are important for us to know as we watch this presentation. Well, as we talk a little bit about the Commerce 1.0 to 2.0, generating sales is still, a primary priority for e-commerce organizations that have e-commerce. And what I find funny about that is organizations aren't really focused on how we can do better, right? How we can bring in structural change to our organization to improve sales, but it's just selling more. And that's because businesses still are focused on getting the basics right with their e-commerce strategy. They're not to the point where they're looking at predictive analytics or AI. Organizations today are finding ways to have their shopping cart communicate with their ERP, finding ways to have additional bodies manage a commerce site and ensure that price or availability is accurate, right? They're stuck on those manual trends and finding ways to have their systems communicate or integrate. Though as we say that, they note that 84% indicated, and these are clients that we've surveyed here on an independent survey, 84% of customers surveyed are currently implementing or have operated a web store and are still focusing on e-commerce 2.0 objectives. Commerce 2.0 objectives typically are, focusing on ways to drive more sales as the top priority, and we've seen in this result here. I mean, besides driving online sales, e-commerce initiatives also appear to be motivated by the need to improve the overall customer experience and overall business efficiency. Goals that, when done well, will also lead to an increase in sales. So a lot of things focused around just driving more sales. So as we note that, I think a lot of our organizations today in the space that run Dynamics in particular are seeing an increased level of competition. More brands are coming out there, more organizations are investing in ERP, and they're starting to stand up commerce portals. E-commerce as a whole, I think, is adventurous because it opens up a whole new channel, a worldwide prospecting pool, right, for you to sell your products and services. And with everyone out to get, a share of that online profit pool that's out there, the competition is continuing to steepen, right? Businesses today have used local competitors to connect with or integrate with commerce, find any way to get a product or a service online and expand its market reach out as far as it can go. So I think the key takeaway here for organizations as we look at some of the obstacles is more businesses today are adopting e-commerce, they're adopting ERP. Adopting both isn't going to be enough, right? Having a web store isn't going to be enough, right? You have to have an attractive, high-quality web store with a stellar customer service experience, right? That ensures that we're treating each of those customers differently, knowing exactly how they want to do business and personalizing that experience. And that's how we're going to be able to set ourselves apart as an organization versus handling the basics. So as we talk about, and again, kind of referring back to organizations that we've pulled, what's really driving organizations' need to upgrade or evolve commerce, right? A lot of people have done commerce, as I said, and they're doing, the basics here. But as people move to Commerce 2.0 and beyond, what's really stopping them from moving forward? And I think as we ask businesses who currently have planned to upgrade, what's the driving factor behind it, they're looking to find a way to improve their overall sales efficiency, right? They understand and they recognize that managing these disconnected systems is very time consuming and overwhelming for their organization. It's costly, right? It's affecting their overall bottom line. And I think this factor in particular draws a stark contrast with the mere 25% of people surveyed who said they want to upgrade their commerce site because their current system was out of date or no longer fit its purpose. Right? It's quite different as we look at businesses today that aren't upgrading their e-commerce platform because they have to. But right now we're seeing organizations upgrade because they want to, right? It's not that what they have isn't working, but they know they want to do better. And I think that's really important that organizations today recognize that they need to find a way to do better, to stay ahead of their competitors. And I think as we note that in any scenario, we know that customers today are demanding. Customers who come online, they work with us in an organization, they're expecting accurate, efficient information. They're expecting more product information, intuitive product catalogs, personalized product catalogs. And all of this has one commonality behind it. This all tailors back to the overall customer experience. About a quarter of the people surveyed in that open report that I referenced to earlier noted that they wanted to improve the customer experience, with the highest percentage, about 58%, indicating they wanted to meet this demand by simplifying the ordering and payment functionality on their current site. Something that a lot of us might think is, hey, ordering and payment should be pretty straightforward on the website, but there again are ways to improve that, to personalize it, to ensure that, hey, the freight options that are offered are personal, the payment options are personal, and then the products that are also being served to me and sold to me, I can effectively find and get into my cart as quickly and as easy as possible, while I also have the capacity to educate myself with a bunch of rich product information. All things that are ways to do better that I think help meet or exceed our clients' demands inside of a portal. And that's where we say and talk more about, it's not just about e-commerce platforms that are evolving. I think businesses are also evolving. They're undergoing a slow yet potentially disruptive transformation in the marketplace. About half the businesses surveyed can now sell directly to customers thanks to e-commerce. And I think this is kind of a big disconnect from where we saw a lot of traditional distributors, manufacturers for years only going the B2B route, selling through distributors and wholesalers. Though with Amazon coming into the picture, changing that business model to go direct, a big transition between that model. And with that, I think it's brought challenges to wholesales and distribution organizations. Right? Digitization here has changed the name of the game, right? Direct-to-consumer sales is tough for organizations to find a way to get out there and sell to them to understand that new type of customer. And again, how can we take that complex spider web supply chain that we have in back office and transition that seamlessly out to our customers online and capture a portion of that $6.6 trillion opportunity that is out there for these distributors as they go online? Well, I think as we see that these distributors are currently at a crossroad where we look at defining the roles, services, and value prop and replacing it with, innovators who will meet that need and who will really disrupt the channel. We note that some data from the B2B to EC news shows that those that currently have an e-commerce site are already planning to evolve that website. About 80% plan to have it in 1 year or two, right, who don't have a commerce portal. So most who do are going to evolve it. Those who don't, about 80% are going to implement a commerce strategy. And as I say that, I think ultimately in a thriving and an increasingly digital age, it's not a question of offline versus online or price versus customer experience. It's about making your workforce more efficient and your businesses more streamlined by treating digitization as a tool rather than viewing it as a roadblock. So I always like to challenge organizations with, hey, while you have an application, while you have a tool in place today, getting the price and service right the first time is critical. Finding a way for your organization to bring on more product, to source new brands, should be a way that you guys are looking to proceed and not worrying about, the growth and scale to your organization. Do I have to bring in more overhead? Do I have to bring in more bodies to keep up with the growth online that we see as an organization, or taking on that retail channel? Does that limit us, or is that really an opportunity for us? So that's why using an online channel should make our organization more efficient and open up room for growth and scale. Traditional manufacturers, I think, are also a key factor in all of this as we look at finding ways to create lean processes, right? Adding more value to our customers through a portal. Bringing IT into the picture for automation and faster data dissemination. And manufacturers today, as they look at commerce, they look for, how can they become more efficient and customer oriented as a brand? And I think that's a large opportunity, but I think also a challenge for these manufacturers, as the way they do business is a little bit more unique than just the traditional consumer or distributor, right? There's multiple digital channels that come into play, like web stores, that make it easier to update their customers with maybe new product iterations or new price iterations that come versus traditional catalog that was sent. A web store for a manufacturer often lets their customers directly communicate their needs without having to go through sales channel representatives or account managers. So, hey, I could quickly hit the online web chat to say I'm looking up for a product or a part. That product or a part might not be something that we traditionally stock online, but I could quickly unlock it, make it accessible so that client can purchase that product real time with that web-based integration, with that web-based communication channel. And I think the end result we see from a lot of that is that e-commerce makes a lot of the commercial departments of an organization more agile, more lean. It allows us to get that product out to our traditional B2B clients, but also expose that data out to a retail channel that might not be aware that our organization sources that type of a product, which is a way for us also to increase, as a manufacturer, the volume of traditional B2B customers that we do have. It also shortens the product life cycle, right? And long product specifications about a product become less of a challenge to put up in our client's face. So if we know there's a lot of supporting product and data that comes along with making the buying decision, we can put that in a portal, allowing our clients to make that educated decision prior to purchasing the product or looking at that product information. So a lot of different areas here where we see manufacturers taking advantage to streamline the overall efficiency, to be more transparent and opening up those new product lines, making it easier for even the most complex ordering scenarios to occur via a portal, but allowing those clients after the fact, after that order has been placed, to either pay their bills or initiate returns through a portal, which streamlines traditional manufacturers' back office teams and efficiency as well. And we round that out with really retailers, right? I think retailers, as they've been here for a long time, have focused on omni-channel for quite some time. They focus on ways that they can improve or beat Amazon. And more so, how do they find a way to meet, customer demand or exceed customer demand? And I think part of that is for businesses that are doing it right and it's really working, organizations who have adopted omni-channel across the organization have seen an increase in sales. They've noted an increase in customer retention, and they've noted also that they've overall improved their clients' experience online through a portal. Omnichannel for a lot of organizations allows them to expand their products globally, increase their geography footprint, and also increase the overall volume of selling models that they might have. And bring into the picture things like buy online, pick up in store, or return in store, which in the past haven't been a thing that organizations were really even able to tackle, because again, they were focused so heavily on just selling what they have. Though as we polled these clients, they noted that 50% of the people surveyed noted that their web store is the most critical component of their strategy as an organization, which I think is really powerful information to note or hear. So as we talk about some of the data that we've gone through today, I also wanted to talk about leveraging the overall investment in Dynamics to master Commerce 2.0. We went through a lot of different data today. We talked about pricing, we talked about availability, we talked about extensive product data. That data traditionally can be stored right back office in NAV or Dynamics 365. And for organization, what that will allow an organization to do is repurpose that data, so we're not managing a separate database, and focus clearly on making their commerce initiatives a reality, right? We can focus on, hey, you know what? Now that I don't have to worry about the basics, those basics are coming out of back office. I can focus now on ways to personalize that client's experience, personalize the catalog that's being served to that client. Also ensure security is there, always up to date with the latest bug patches and security fixes. You know, as I grow or expand as a business, if I need to launch out an additional web store, I can do just that. Or, hey, if I need to worry about what is it going to cost to implement this system or evolve this system, I can do that knowing that an implementation of a platform, a commerce portal, can be done on a fixed budget implementation. Things that Sana's work to provide organizations work with to ensure that they can overcome the basics and get to perfecting e-commerce and moving forward to e-commerce 3.0. And I think where consumers today are focused on moving to commerce 3.0 with native advertising and, you know, more orchestrated customer journeys, organizations still are laying the foundation for a more commerce platform. And that's where I always kind of open up to organizations to say, well, business is good today. It can always be better. And as I kind of talk about commerce and what Sana's done for commerce for organizations, the next component that I always like to kind of talk about is the extensibility of commerce. So organizations implement commerce. They talk about, hey, we have NAV or Business Central in place back office. How does that website evolve? How does it move forward? What can we do with it into the future? Is it going to cost us? What's it going to cost us to keep that website moving forward? Well, for many organizations here, as we look at it, Sana deployed out and invested heavily in R&D in bringing forward the first SaaS application for Microsoft Dynamics when it came to commerce. So here in the baseline, we see NAV. We see Sana deployed out in the SaaS model, allowing organizations to customize the front end, customize the back end of Sana, potentially customize what's going on inside of the ERP, but also find a way to then customize the cart itself, allowing for extension points to be built out to customize and utilize custom add-ons that an organization might want, or standardized add-ons that Sana's built, allowing the website to evolve and your organization to evolve its overall product set on an ongoing basis. But what this means for organizations is these add-ons can quickly be installed or uninstalled. It eliminates the need to have these heavy customizations built in that often are a barrier to an upgrade, and ensure that what is built out today will evolve into the future without an organization having the cost of time and money coming into the picture when an ERP change needs to be made or the overall baseline of the website needs to be updated. All this can be all done dynamically, regardless of the version you're sitting on the ERP or regardless of the version of Sana you're sitting on. All these updates can be done in a dynamic fashion. I wanted to conclude today by just kind of highlighting one of our client success stories that we talked a little bit about that I think kind of encompasses a lot of what we spoke about today. The organization's named IHL Canada. They focus on selling hardware into the DIY and contractor industry. And in being located up in Canada, they really have about 4 to 5 months of critical selling capacity as an organization. And when you're selling hardware and tools, trying to compete with some of the giants of the world, it's a tough industry. But what they look to do and focus on was providing extensive and accurate product information out to their customers, right? So a contractor could come in at any point in time, count on IHL to ensure that, hey, the product I was looking for, I could find intuitively. I could be ensure that the product I wanted to order as a contractor, I could come in at the end of the day on a job site, order the products I needed and have that product shipped and arrive on my job site the next morning, right? Something that the big box guys can't handle. They were able to do that by putting in place a system like Microsoft Dynamics NAV, an integrated WMS, and a system like Sana who can seamlessly talk back to NAV and take a look at availability and ensure that the price and availability shown to a contractor at any point was accurate. So the contractor could always count on IHL as an organization to satisfy their need, take care of their demand, and really focus on them as a counted or reliable partner that they go to business with, which in the end, if they were able to save a couple dollars by going to, Home Depot or Lowe's to find product, that's one thing. But being able to count on an organization like IHL, who always was transparent and could deliver a more optimal level of service to their customers, is what has segmented these guys and put them apart and allow them to grow as a brand and really disrupt the market space by offering out this unique service to their clients. They've since expanded out from just their traditional web store to now offering out this information in store as well with a tablet, allowing contractors to actually walk into a physical location and scan out products from a tablet and place their orders quickly if they ever wanted to walk into a showroom floor. So a nice way that they've transformed their business with Microsoft Dynamics NAV in place, Sonic Commerce, and integrating all the systems together. So if this can be done, this can be something for your organization to do. I think what's important is just to educate yourself on where things are going today. We talked a little bit about where the channels are going today, but also to focus on more than just the basics, right? How are you going to get ahead in your industry? How are you going to position your organization for growth and success, to take on more products, to take on more product lines, or also just optimize your client's experience in working with you as a business or a brand. And then long term, find ways to ensure that there's evolution, right? You don't want to be sitting in, and I think the statistic is out of all commerce websites today, the average customer is on the same shopping cart code and logic for 4.5 years. 4.5 years, that code sits stagnant. You might have updated it by putting some custom code on top of it, but that base code is 4.5 years old. A lot changes in 6 months in commerce. So what that means for your business, what that means from a cost standpoint when you're putting these static applications in place versus investing in a SaaS-based application that will evolve with your organization, that will evolve with the e-commerce industry, and that will stay current with your version of your ERP that you're on as well. So all key takeaways from our conversation today. So I want to welcome you guys and open up. If you guys are interested in the report that we talked a little bit about today, I'd welcome you to download that report. There's a link here. Or if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to Sana or Innovia. We'd be happy to get on the phone and talk with you guys a little bit more and help educate you on how we can help your business into the future. So thanks again, and we appreciate your time today.
All right, Giuseppe, thank you very much for that presentation. We do have a few questions. What is the main advantage of using a solution integrated with my Dynamics ERP system?
Well, I think the most critical advantage you have in using a system that's actually integrated with your system is transparency. You know, when a client comes to your website, I think there's nothing more frustrating as a consumer than when I go out to a website and I place an order for a product, and I get a call 20 minutes later or an email the next day, hey, your product's currently on back order. Though when I went to your website, availability showed that it was in stock. When you're working with a system like Sana that is connected to your ERP, you have up to the second availability price being shown out to a customer. So what we eliminate in a connected world, right, is that data ever being disconnected, right? It's always up to the second, it's always up to the minute. So you always optimize your customer's experience. The customer can rely on you as an organization, and we've provided them true inventory transparency because the database that we're looking at is really the ERP. It's not the shopping cart. And that's a drastic difference between a shopping cart that is synchronizing data from its cart database to the ERP in a system like Sana that's actually connected to the ERP.
Okay, thank you. Next question. We have complex pricing set up at an account level with our customers, things like discounts or tier pricing. How does that work with your solution?
So yeah, that's a great question. Again, I'll kind of frame it back to what I spoke about earlier. Complex pricing, unique catalogs are things that are maintained inside of native Microsoft Dynamics NAV or Business Central. So when you create a customer inside of NAV, you set up that complex pricing. You set up unique terms. You set up unique product catalogs, all in baseline ERP. So for Sana, that's not something you would actually set up and manage on the cart side of things. It's something that you manage in your ERP. And what's nice about that is we're looking at that ERP table. We're using a web service to call. And when a client logs into the portal, we're automatically exposing the price that you as a business have already managed and are maintaining back inside of your ERP.
Okay, thank you. And last question. How are orders processed with your system?
Yeah, so we process orders the same way you would process them inside of NAV or Business Central today. Sana uses a web service call, so at checkout, we write that sales order immediately back to NAV. So we're not actually creating the order inside of Sana, we're creating it inside of the NAV database. So when a customer hits order online, he's actually doing the same thing you would do as an organization when you're manually keying it into the ERP. It is creating a sales order on the fly back in the ERP. So it's automating the creation of the sales order. That would also be the same if we were initiating return online or we were paying an invoice online. We're applying and utilizing the same back office logic that your organization would also be using there. We're just automating it through a web service call through Sana in the portal. Good question.
All right, great. Well, it looks like those are all of our questions that we have. If anyone has any further questions, or if you'd like to discuss more in detail some of the issues that you are encountering, please don't hesitate to contact us. And also, we just want to let you know about our upcoming events that will be taking place. We do have another webinar next week. We will be presenting on preparing for a stress-free year-end payroll process. Our very own Lori Knapp will be presenting on that topic on November 13th. And then we also have one on the 14th, and Marlene Mankin, she will be presenting on Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2018 budgets. So if you're interested in any of our future webinars or events that are going on, please check out our website to register for those events. All right, well, thank you everyone again for attending. Thank you, Giuseppe, for the presentation, and we look forward to seeing you on one of our future webinars. Have a great day.